Hello, welcome back to Celestial Message. Sorry about the delay in video. Things have been kind of busy. It's hectic. It's warm out. It's summer. I love the heat, so I'm usually out and about a lot more. But I knew I had to make this video. It's an important one, and it's mainly about moving out of our inaccessible house into an accessible house, uh, which is such a blessing after living in a house that's not accessible and the trials and tribulations that go along with that and inaccessibility and everything connected with that when you live with a disability and you rely on a power wheelchair, as far as freedom to move around at will and things of that nature. So it was summertime and we stayed in our same neighborhood. We were lucky enough to build a ranch, an accessible ranch style house in a not too far away from our old house. Um, Keeping my brothers and stuff like that in the same school was important to our family, and not making a huge move up. What a blessing it was to be able to do this, with other people in similar situations as far as disability goes. They may not be uh, as blessed to be able to just sell a house and build a new house. So I was very grateful um, for my family's ability, and having lived in the house with the inaccessibility and all those hardships, trials, and tribulations that came with it. Um, I really did appreciate and was very grateful for the ability for my family to be able to build a house that was accessible for myself, uh, and also keeping my family pretty close to where we were as far as our neighborhood that we liked and the school and friends and all that stuff. So it was just a all around a huge blessing. But it was summertime and we moved in. Again, this is really exciting for me because I had this power chair that I ordered and I wasn't able to use in the old house. So I was able to get into that, and I couldn't even tell you the amount of excitement that came with that. Just being able to, it's hard to really put into words, and I'm sure it's probably hard for you to understand. But from going to not being able to move or even turn around, any any movement over like a couple inches, um, to be able to go from no movement without asking someone, can you move me here? Can you turn me around here? Can you go over here so I can look out this window really quick? Something caught my eye, like natural things that you do on a daily basis that you don't realize. Um, it was just huge. I got in the power chair, and a couple weeks before we got the house, I'm kind of just guesstimating. I can't remember the exact time. We were also or I already talked about the van because I was going on the field trips and stuff like that, so that's right. But I didn't have the power chair. So yeah, I have the power chair. We have the van. So things were really coming together as far as the independence was going. I was still seeing my friends. They would come over every now and then, but it was here and there, and it was kind of disappointing because being as young as I was, I think I was 19, 20. You really want to get out and about with your friends, and I knew they were out and about, so uh, I was just eager to meet up with them again, or just to see what this new journey was gonna hold for me as far as the new house. So we get all this, all the obvious stuff. We cleared out the house, move in, and the house is great. It's got, and this may be helpful if you ever have to do this, but my parents were told, build a house that's accessible, but not for the person with the disability. Like, don't get too crazy on the accessibility options, I guess you want to say, like, elevators and things of that nature. You want to make the house accessible, but you also want to keep it uh, accessible to other buyers. Say when you are ready to sell the house, someone's not going to want, a house with, you know, all this extra stuff that they don't need, elevators and things of that nature. So my parents just basically um, added wider hallways, or we only have one hallway, but a much wider hallway than normal size hallways. All the doors were widened. It was kind of an open floor plan as far as the kitchen and the dining room and the living room. It all kind of flows into one. Um, and yeah, we have a accessible bathroom as far as like a roll-in shower. A sink that I can kind of sort of get my chair underneath. Um, my parents did a pretty good job. Again, this was kind of a rushed situation. When I was in rehab, they had to make a decision whether they were going to keep the old house, renovate it to make it accessible, or sell it. And based on the renovations that would have had to have been made and the ability to sell it, we decided, or my parents decided to sell the house and build the new house. So we did a pretty good job. I think the only thing that they think they would have changed is keeping the accessible bathroom closer to me. It's kind of on the other side of the house where the laundry room used to be, but that's the only thing that they would change. And like I said, it was amazing. We get into the house, and again, I'm in this power chair, so I'm able to actually move around without asking people. So I was probably in my own little world for a few days living here, as far as just going around, driving around everywhere, looking out windows and what have you. There's ramps in the garage and the back of the house, so I can get in and out of the house easily. At this time, we had caregiver that was coming to help get me up. So again, it was instilling a little, somewhat of an independence to me, like keeping me independent from my parents and my brothers and stuff like that, which is something that's always been really important to me, and I think important to a lot of people with disabilities. Just keeping as much independence as you can, and not feeling like you're taking away from others um, for what you need. I know that's probably not the best way to put it, but it is what it is. So yeah, just driving around the house. It was a newer neighborhood, so that not all the houses were built on the block. But it was a great feeling, just to be able to get out of the house, drive around up and down the sidewalk. Um, it was a little weird at first, being out in public in the big tank of a chair, because it catches a lot of eyes. Um, I always call it a tank of a chair, but it's a lot bigger than one of the manual chairs that you'll see, like someone with a paraplegic or someone that can use their upper body that pushes their wheelchair. It's a much bigger and heavier chair than that. But yeah, so it was a little weird getting used to the stairs and stuff, but I kind of got over it quick. People are always gonna look at something that they haven't seen before just to kind of check it out. So that's what I, kind of took it as. And the next thing that I can remember after the new house and the caregiver was, getting uh, just getting used to the environment and getting settled. And then it was time to start school. I had made a promise to myself. Like I said in the earlier video, it was kind of like the day that I was in the hospital bed. And it's like, what are you going to do with your life? Are you just going to, sulk and feel sorry for yourself for a lot of years, or try to figure this out, try to work through, try to accomplish some things um, while you're here. And I wasn't a big, I wasn't too big into school or academics when I was there. Um, I more appreciated the social aspect that it provided, but I knew that if I was going to do anything uh, living with a disability, that I was going to have some education, uh, education in my background and some degree. So I decided to go to junior college at night, and it was, like I said, it was intimidating getting back into school. Um, I was, like I said, I was 20, probably 20, no, yeah, 20, probably 20 years old when I started getting back to school. I would take night classes, just a couple, I think 2 night classes, a couple days a week, just to kind of get my time to get my foot in the water and kind of see what it was going to be like going to school. And yeah, it was just something that I'm glad I did it. Everyone was really, accepting. It wasn't that big of a deal, but it was definitely, something that you had to take that, that leap of faith and just kind of go with it. And, whatever happens, happens. I learned a lot about advocating for myself as far as, me not being able to write and take notes, having to ask someone to take notes for me and, the accommodations that I needed, that came from things that I couldn't do for my disability. That was my first time having to do that. And I was very fortunate because the professors and the students that I had classes with were very, very helpful as far as, the accommodations and everything I needed without making it kind of like, a worst case scenario, a tug of wars, a tug of war, if you will, of trying to get the things that you need, you know, um, to make things, easy for me to do or being able to accomplish the things that I needed to accomplish in class. So I was very fortunate, and I did that for a couple semesters, getting to and from night classes, which eventually, progressed to, going to class, during the day, during the week, and things of that nature. Um, and I enjoyed it. I mean, I tried to make the best of it. I had a goal to, graduate from junior college and move on to a 4-year university to finish my degree. And so that was my goal. And I just remember being very kind of laser focused on that and trying, to get the best grades that I could to be able to transfer to the university of my choice. And there was, I mean, if I can summarize it, it was, uh, it was tough, going to school, learning, how to be a student again and, how to study and, study with limitations. I mean, technology was there, which helped a lot and things of that nature, but definitely being able to speak up for myself, advocate for myself. Um, I think keeping to myself is something that I, kind of like to do, unless I'm in like more of a social setting. So this is kind of something that was different for me, but you don't really have a choice. And I kind of went with it. It did take me, uh, several years to finish the junior college. I would run into the problems that I would run into would be no personal assistance, being, them leaving or getting different jobs or, just being without one for a while was something that I would run into here and there. And at times I would have to take time off of school, because without the caregiver and stuff like that, I really couldn't figure out a way to get to and from school and things of that nature. So semesters were taken off here and there, which kind of postponed things. Both of my parents were still working. Um, I was fortunate at times to have help here and there, and I can't really remember if it was for how long, but sometimes my mother would be able to take me to class if I was in a bind. And if I remember correctly, it was for a couple months, and I'm not really sure why or how that was able to happen because she was still supposedly working, or maybe that was I know, yeah, she was in between jobs trying to figure out another job, and so she was kind of my caregiver for a couple months. Excuse me. So she was able to take me to class, which I was very, grateful for. But just to get those credits to be able to transfer. Um, Upon finishing, uh, the junior college, I was talking to counselors, and they really had a great program for people with all types of disabilities at the University of Illinois in Champaign. Um, so that was my choice as far as the university that I wanted to transfer to. I worked really hard, had a great GPA, and I was going to study psychology at the college, and it was fortunately it was one of these degrees or one of these majors that allowed you to transfer mid school year, which I didn't know was possible. So my counselor gave me the choice at junior college, whether I wanted to apply for the spring semester, directly after I graduated in the fall, or take the summer off and start fresh in the fall. And I figured, why not just go in the spring, because I knew the longer I waited or was not in school, you know losing those habits and the focus and things like that might have taken over, and I didn't want to chance that at all. So I just applied for the spring semester, and I was fortunate, and I was accepted, and it was a bit nerve-wracking for everyone. You know, in my gut, I always would try to play it off, like I wasn't too nervous, and I was a little nervous, but I always knew I would be okay, and I think that goes back to that, that spiritual side of things, just knowing that I just always knew that I was going to be provided for, and I don't want to sound like kind of arrogant saying that, but I just always knew that Holy Spirit was always going to be there for me to kind of watch out for me and kind of make sure things clicked, and it was a huge blessing, and I would always kind of say that to myself. My parents were very nervous, especially my mother. Me leaving home to live on a college campus, a couple hours away, was going to be a big deal for them, and so we talked about it. I mean, they were really nervous, and we were able to get through it. Them drive me down. We get to the university. Very nerve wracking. I never pictured myself in a 4-year university. Um, but here we are. I moved in, and it was funny because I actually had the same roommate that I had when I was in rehab, just by chance. I couldn't believe it. You couldn't write this in a movie if you were writing the movie. But yeah, we were in Champaign, Urbana, and I moved into a room downstairs into this dorm room or dorm building that housed people with physical disabilities. I can't talk, and people that needed help and assistance, uh, getting up as far as caregivers and things like that. And my roommate was the same roommate that I had when I was in rehab, several years back. I mean, I started the University of Illinois in 2005, and I was in rehab with my roommate back in 98. So like I said, some time had passed, and we kept in touch here and there, but I didn't know he was a student a student at the university until, I saw his name, and then, met my suite mate, who we, 2 rooms share 1 bathroom. We ran into each other. But it was a very exciting time. I was very proud. Again, you're accomplishing goals. Living with a disability, and it's empowering. It's kind of like that I can attitude. As long as you put your mind to it, and you think, you stay positive, you think positive. And for me, it was big in just trying to be, do right, do good as much as I could. I'm not perfect. I was making mistakes here and there, but just trying to be focused on what was important, to accomplish your goals, and things were happening. Things were kind of, pun intended, but rolling in the right direction. Uh, and it was a really good feeling. Um, but yeah, I think I'm going to end this video here. Um, we'll talk a little bit more about, my experience when I was at the 4-year school, probably in the next video. But again, thank you for tuning in to the Celestial Message. I hope these videos are helping. I look forward to making more videos, hopefully a little bit quicker than I have been. But like I said, with the summer, me getting sidetracked, we'll just hope for the best. Take care, and I hope you're all doing well. Bye-bye.